Hello and welcome to New Beginnings. I'm Asha Siad. Finding a new beginning in the most unlikely of places can be adventurous, at times frightening. It can give you a different perspective or even hope. For the individuals that you'll meet in the next half an hour, a new beginning could be in the form of a house, converting to a new religion, or the acceptance of a life-changing disability. These are their stories. Imagine leaving a civil war behind and setting foot into a new country without knowing the language or the culture. Now imagine sharing that experience with over 30 individuals inside the same house. Take a look. I'm standing outside what appears to be an ordinary house in the quiet neighborhood of Bridgeland. But what most people don't know is that it's more than just a house. It's a starting point for some new visitors. Over 8,000 government-assisted refugees have walked through the doors of the Margaret Chisholm Resettlement Centre since it opened 20 years ago. It's run by the Calgary Catholic Immigration Society and provides temporary accommodation to refugees from countries like Iraq, Somalia, and Afghanistan. The house is their first point of contact in Canada, and as Fatima Mansouri, the Resettlement and Integration Counsellor, tells me, it's also where they begin the transition into their new country.
The refugees come, we meet them at the airport, we greet them, assist them with their luggages, their flights, their documents and everything. Then they will be put by taxi where we will welcome them here. So they will be assigned a counselor that will work with them. So we will make sure that we are here when they arrive just to welcome them and make them feel comfortable.
The refugees are allowed to stay for up to 19 days inside the house.
During these 19 days, we will do initial needs assessment. We will help them with their documents, essential documents. We will give orientations, information, referrals. We will connect them to the community and like schools, health clinic, and all the necessity that they need right away.
The house accommodates 80 refugees at a time. It's equipped with a health clinic, a dining hall, and an entertainment room. So how many bedrooms are inside of this house?
So we have about 5 apartments which can hold larger families, and we have about 16 individual rooms. We have toys and books for the kids where they can play. When we're not doing anything with the client or at night when we're not here, then they can sit and socialize.
How important is it for these individuals to integrate?
Well, I think integration is everything. If they're not integrated, then they won't feel comfortable to live anywhere else. So that's why we are here to make sure to help them with that integration and the process of it. It's very important because some of them have been unfortunate to leave their home. So to come here and find welcome and home is very important. It gives them that sense of home.
The center is designed to resemble a family home, and Muyad Salam already feels like a member. It's day 14 for the 21-year-old Palestinian refugee from Syria.
قبل ما أجي لهون يعني كانت الحياة كتير صعبة، بس بالماضي كانت سوريا إنه بلد كتير جميلة، بلد يعني إن العالم كلها تيجيها تعيش فيها بلد الأمان. بس الشيء اللي صار من سنة 2011 كانت كارثة يعني على البلد. مثلا أنا كنت يعني مستقبل الشباب انقتل بشكل عام. كان إنه أنا بدرس معلوماتية. إنه كنت أفكر إني أتخرج أدرس بعد التخرج إني أتجوز. هذا الشيء كلياته راح بالنسبة للشباب ومستقبل الشباب كله.
The civil war forced Salam, along with countless others, to leave Syria. However, his journey led him to Thailand, where he was imprisoned.
تايلاند ترجعنا على لبنان، من لبنان بدها تضطر إنه نحن ترجعنا على سوريا. رجعت على سوريا أنا علي جيش إني أخدم جيش. فهون راح أضطر إني يا أقتل يا أنقتل، إن في حل من الحلين، فهون اتدخلت اليوم.
The UN intervened and took him to the Philippines, then to Canada. He intends to learn English and study computer science. 5 days remain for Salam inside the house, and while it's bittersweet, he says it's time to move on.
لما دخلت لهون انه مثل انه بلشت هون انه لقيت كمان عيال تانية انه اعتبرتهم مثل اهلي، صرنا انه كلياتنا عيلة وحدة، اسرة وحدة. هذا الشيء.
تعطيه إشارة النصر
طبعا
بإذن الله منصورين
ان شاء الله.
صح.
لما دخلت لهون انه مثل انه بلشت هون انه لقيت كمان عيال تانية انه اعتبرتهم مثل اهلي، صرنا انه كلياتنا عيلة وحدة، اسرة وحدة. هذا الشيء.
For Samira Abdulhadi, she feels more than lucky. Coming to Canada was a dream come true for the mother of 5 from Iraq.
احنا يعني من بعد الهجرة من العراق بسبب الحرب الأخيرة اللي حصل فيها الطائفية، احنا يعني تهجرنا، رحت أنا وعائلتي لمصر إيجيبت. بعدها عشت 8 سنوات بمصر، عانينا وشفنا متاعب كثيرة، فقدمنا في اليو ان، وبعدها في اليو ان فرحنا من طلعت لنا كندا. لأن أنا حابة أطفالي يشوفون الأشياء الحلوة اللي إحنا انحرمنا منها. إحنا شفنا أشياء مو حلوة، سيئة. أطفالنا انحرموا يعني كثير، وعندي طفلة عندها 4 سنين. هنا دخلت لهذا المكان هذا بالضبط، يعني تفاجأت الألعاب تجيها من الموظفين وبدون ما أطلب أو تطلب الطفلة أو تشوف الألعاب. وصحيح مثلا احنا ما نعرف اللغة الإنجليزية، بس هنا الموظفين ساعدونا، جابوا لنا ناس تتكلم صح هم الإنجليزي وبالعربي، خلونا ما نحس احنا بغربة أو ناس نختلف أو ما نفهم، خلونا ناخذ راحتنا وعلمونا القوانين والواجبات والحقوق اللي لنا واللي علينا. يعني شيء حلو، ونحس في قانون، نحس يعني في الحياة يعني في مستقبل.
Margaret Stachinska has been working with refugees for the past 30 years and says she notices a difference in the influx of refugees to the house.
It depends what is the political situation on the world. Then we will have different people coming from different parts of the world. I remember in 1999, for example, it was the turmoil in the Balkans, in the Europe, and Kosovo refugees were coming. We, in this house, in 3 months, we have to resettle 450 Kosovo's people.
However, what they are seeking hasn't changed.
If refugees are coming because of some turmoil on the world and they would like to come to this country, they want the same thing on everybody else. They would like to be happy, safe. They would like to make better life for themselves and the future for the children.
وشفنا شغلات حلوة. أول ما دخلنا الغرف تفاجأنا، يعني كل سرير مثلا 4 الفوط، يعني المنشأة 4 فوط كبار وصغار كل شخص، وملاحف نظيفة وكلها جديدة في الكيس. وبعدين قالوا دي تاخذوها معاكم، يعني شيء حلو حلو بدون يعني ما كلفنا أي شيء. إحنا بصراحة جينا ما شايلين نقول ولا دولار أو ولا نص دولار. راح الخوف اختفى، حسينا بقوة. هم قوونا وسندونا وقالوا هذا كندا خلص بلدكم، وإحنا هنا نساعدكم لحد ما تتكيفون مع الوضع، والحمد لله.
Once they move out, our help doesn't stop right there. So we will be helping them for up to 3 years. They will be coming for services. For some families that are high need, we will make sure actually to assign them what's called enhanced life skill worker. That means when they move out, they're not alone.
A blessing, a piece of home, whatever you may want to call it, this resettlement center has given people like Moyed and Samira a welcome that they may never forget.
حتى اتصل عليها لمصر تدعي للناس اللي هنا هم ما يعرفوا بين في حجة كبيرة، تدعي لهم البنات كلهم والرجال، الله شاهد.
Here's an update for you. Since Muyad moved out of the center, he's found a part-time job and, with the help of counselors, a place to stay. Samira and her family have also found a home to make their own, and her children are now attending school. Our next story follows the journey of a mother as she battles with her son's disability and the cultural stigmas surrounding it. She shares her story in the hopes of helping ethnic parents just like herself.
Eric, sit. You can have rice. My name is Li Luo. We came in Canada in 2005. Only myself and my husband, two person. We came here just want to have different experience of life. That time was not very easy for us. In the beginning, our English level is very low. After I got pregnant in 2007, I was depressed and I was sent to hospital because I was thinking of suicide. That time it wasn't very a good time for us because I couldn't invite my parents to here. We were lonely here. That was my first child in my life and I don't know what I can do. But things went perfect. We got a lot of social support. After that, both of us got jobs, and we bought house, we bought cars.
Life began to look up for Lee and her family.
We're thinking our life is going to be perfect in Canada.
However, after the birth of her second son, Eric, Lee's world would change yet again.
When he was 17 months old, I felt that maybe something wrong with him because I call his name, he never responds to me. I took him to the hearing test because every time I talk to him, he seems not hear anything. After his hearing test, it was normal. Then my husband said maybe we should take him to see a psychologist. I couldn't wait because I want to know what's wrong, what's going on with him. So we hire a private psychologist, and she did the diagnosis for Eric. Yes, he has autism. After his diagnosis, there's blank in my mind. I just lost. I got lost because I don't know what's the next. I couldn't believe that and I couldn't accept that. I will never think it's gonna happen in my family because I never did something wrong in my life. I'm a kind person, but it's true. I was trying to take him out, but he's always screaming, crying in front of people. He couldn't wait even 1 second in superstore when I was checking out. Some of my friends asked me, "What did you do when you were pregnant? What did you eat?" Some of them asked me, "Oh, you should talk to your son more. You shouldn't leave him in the house that much. You should pay more attention on your son." They were caring about me, but their questions make me feel very guilty, and their questions made me feel I did something wrong for my son, and I'm the one who's responsible for his disability. After a while, I stopped taking my son to the community because people's eyes, when they look at me, I feel I'm the worst person, worst mom in the whole wide world. And I stopped going out because I couldn't answer the questions people ask me. How can I know why Eric has autism and why this happens in my family? I couldn't answer them.
Sandra Worley from Children's Link hears these questions all too often from the ethnic parents she works with. It's what led her to create a free parenting workshop that takes an interactive approach to addressing these issues. It's also the only program of its kind in Calgary, and there's a growing need for it.
Today we're going to be discussing the topics of cultural views and attitudes about disability. And we realized that although that is a need, we almost had to back up a little bit. There were many parents that had not really dealt with the fact that they had a child with a disability and what that might mean. They hadn't kind of taken the time to process the feelings that surround that when you have a child with a disability. They sometimes didn't even know what disability was. So we had to go back and make sure that we clarified those things, and also that we talked about some of the cultural views surrounding disability, because we were finding that some of those views were impacting how parents were accessing services, or sometimes were the reason that they weren't, being able to connect with others and get the help that they needed for their children.
Back in China, a lot of people will think if a person has a disability, maybe that means he or his parents did something wrong in the past or hurt somebody in their life. It's just a punishment for them of doing that. For some of the people, they hide their child with disability for their whole life. It's not a pleasure thing to share with others. I was having a hard time to inform my parents of his diagnosis.
Aside from language, social and economic barriers immigrant parents may already face, parenting a child with special needs on top of that can be challenging.
What makes this group unique is that added to all of those pressures, they also are raising a child with a disability. And that usually increases the demand for services and the need to connect with others, especially in the professional fields. And so they have to then interact with multiple systems. And that can be very difficult even for born Canadians to do, let alone somebody that has a language barrier or a cultural barrier or any of those added concerns. So they really do have a big load.
Do you want this?
Yes.
What is this?
Okay.
What is this?
I want banana chip.
Yeah, you want banana chip! Good job, Eric!
After attending the workshop, Lee was able to learn some new skills that not only allowed her to cope with her son's autism, but meet other parents facing the same struggles. She even gained the confidence to tell her parents about Eric's autism.
Nice. Good job. It makes such significant changes in my life.
Which is a fairly large amount of people.
65 parents representing 25 different cultures have gone through the workshop since it was created a year and a half ago. The program is free to attend, and parents are assisted with transportation and childcare if needed. But despite the resources provided, Worley says it's still difficult to have them sign up.
We've tried to explore what are the reasons for that, but one, it can be very difficult for them to get here, just the physical, transportation. But two, a lot of times they're not encouraged, through their family unit or through their culture to reach out and to get help and to access, the things that might be available for them in the community.
Those that do attend have learned to look at disability in a different way.
As we go through some of these initial stages, we eventually reach a place where we have a level of acceptance. And then even further than that, some of the people working in the area of special needs have gone beyond just accepting, but taken it a step further to appreciating, because a lot of times we focus on, all of the challenges, and of course there are many when you're a parent of a child with special needs, but we forget that there are also many gifts and blessings that you get, as a parent of a child with special needs. Many times you can develop an increased degree of empathy and compassion for others. Lots of times you become more creative.
So tell me about your family portraits.
Yeah, we actually couldn't have any family portrait in Eric's whole life because he just kept moving, and sometimes the lights in the studio will distracted him a lot. But it doesn't mean we couldn't have one. We actually have one family portrait. It's here. One of my colleagues from my previous work, she did the portrait for us. And it's beautiful, it's special and unique. I like that. All the mom will expect they will have a very happy journey when they were pregnant. But for me, it was just a totally different destination. I had my first son. I thought, oh, we're going to France, right? And I buy the book to introduce all the side view for France, and I learn French because I want to talk to people in France, and I search all the information on the internet about France. But when I got the diagnosis of Eric, it's changed my plan. It's just like the airplane changed the destination of my trip. And French doesn't work. So the side view, I can't see because we are not getting France, sorry. So this is a new trip. The destination gonna be Holland. So I need to learn everything about Holland. I need to know language. I need to know the people, the places, the city in Holland. It's beautiful there, actually. So every place has flowers. Every place has beautiful sightseeing. We're just going to a different place. It's not something we were expected, but it's definitely beautiful.
Lee recently welcomed a new addition to the family, a service dog named Rodeo. Lee believes that Rodeo and Eric will be the best of friends. After converting to Islam and moving to Calgary almost 30 years ago, Evelyn Sarah Boats felt alone in the city as a new Muslim, something that is all too common for converts. She recently discovered a support group for new Muslims.
My name is Evelyn Serbold. I am of Filipino heritage. I met my husband in the Philippines. And Philippines is a 90% Catholic country, but there are 10% living in the south who are Muslims. And at the time, I wasn't fully aware what Islam is until I met my husband. My husband is the one who introduced me to Islam. And he came to the Philippines. He was there, visited twice. We met. He gave me some books about the religion. And I read them and I studied them. And I guess what brought me really there is the beauty of the religion. After 2 years, he came back. He proposed for us to get married, and we did. And after that, I converted to Islam. I knew nothing about the religion. All I know is that the beautiful and loving examples that my husband had shown me about Islam. And moving to the Middle East, which is a Muslim country, it really helped a great deal for me to embrace the religion and learn more about it, simply because I lived I live with people with the same faith. It was very easy for me. This is me and my children. They were really small when we were there. I guess it's the appearance, because I was born Catholic and I grew up Catholic until I was 17 years old. I wasn't used on the religious scarf, but when I was in Saudi Arabia, I did wear the hijab. They call it the hijab. But there are some medical conditions that didn't allow me to wear it. I don't know if it was the temperature in the country because it's too hot. But when I found out that we are moving to Canada, I was like, yay, I'm moving to a cold country, so it will probably help me wear the religious scarf finally. But when we moved here, I still found out that the same medical condition lingered on with me, so I couldn't wear it. But that is the only challenge that I found for me converting to Islam. I mean, I'm a practicing Muslim. I fast, I pray, I do charity, and I had the privilege to do Hajj when I was in Saudi Arabia. And I'm really proud to being a Muslim. And I just pray that, God willing, in the future, God will allow me to wear the religious headscarf. When I moved to Canada, I never knew any convert before. And I felt like I was alone in this Western country, completely different from where I came from. Before I used to see people or women around me, dress and they move and they talk and they live exactly the same way as I am. But when I moved up to Canada, it was completely different. I did go to mosques to start some or build some relationship with Muslim sisters. But because of my look, I am not an Arab person. I am from Asia. And when people finds out or realize that I am a converted Muslim, they are actually surprised. When they see converts from Asia, they only have in their mind it's either a Malaysian or Indonesian, right? I'm always mistaken to be either Chinese or Indonesian. Never one person said, oh, you are actually a Filipina. There's not too many people that are converts, but since I joined the New Muslim Circle, I've met a lot of them. I met people from even my own country. Can you believe that? My own country. I met her here in Calgary. She's a convert. She's Filipina.
Do you want to put your stuff inside and then you guys can come out and do your greeting stuff? It's basically an initiative that seeks to serve people who have converted to Islam at some point in their lives, whether it be very new converts or more established converts. And we also serve seekers, so people who have questions about Islam, they're interested in learning more about it, and we do this in a safe space. We have group discussions every week. We also have an online mini group. We do community events, and we have different activities for converts and one-on-ones with people who are looking for support.
Lord of the world, the Lord of mercy, the giver of mercy, master of the day of judgment. It is you we worship, it is you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those you have blessed.
I think the challenges with being a convert to Islam is that it's very difficult to meet other converts, and it's very difficult to meet people that are going through similar situations. So, for example, up until now, there's really been no systematic, organized initiative to take converts from saying their testification of faith, the Shahada, to kind of bringing them into the community. There's been no systematic process to do that. So people have had a difficult time either meeting other converts, things kind of, you might meet someone by chance at an event or something, or at the mosque, but there's no real centralized place to kind of get together and meet other people and talk about common initiatives. So it's really important that we've been able to do this and kind of give a sense of belonging to people who have converted, give them a safe place to come.
For someone like me, I adapted to change quickly because my environment helped me so much. But for people here, my heart goes out with them. They don't need to change their identity just like that. Religion, embracing a new religion, is like embracing a new job. It's like embracing a new lifestyle. There is a process for it. And if converts will allow themselves to take time to learn the process, they will probably, they will probably conquer that challenge. And again, for the community outside of him or her, if they can only allow her or him again to take that time, right? That changes that he would have to do for embracing Islam.
Oh, they started already?
For me, because I love the religion that he took me into. It is the best thing that ever happened to me. I did not forget where I came from. My family are still Catholic. My family did not abandon me. They did not betray me. Why? Because they saw that I moved on to a life that has brought me a better life. For new converts in Calgary, I really, really hope that, of course, we're going to grow. We're going to multiply. And I hope that they will find it in their hearts that the religion is not something that should change who they are, but rather change the way they are going to heaven. Because this is what I had in my mind before. I was Catholic, and I prayed really, really hard to God, and I said, God, I'm not leaving you, I'm not abandoning you, I just found another way to get to you. Above everything that we do, it is our faith, and I would insist the word love. Okay? If you love who you meet, if you love what you do, if you love what you believe, if you love what you think, what else you can bring into a life of someone, a group, a religion. If love is up there in your faith, you can face any challenges.
Evelyn continues to attend the circle as it slowly grows. Whether starting over in a new country or learning to look at disability through a different lens, as you can see by the stories shared, a new beginning can start in any way, shape, or form. And that concludes this episode of New Beginnings. I'm your host, Asha Siad, and thank you for watching.